Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode 2, season 2 of On the Verge podcast with Willie Davis and Tammy McQueen. How are you doing today, Tammy?
Fantastic. Thank you so much for being in person with me. We are here again in person. So thrilled we were just having a conversation that it's so different recording in person than it is over Zoom. So I feel that Zoom fatigue and it's real. And just having a taste of what it's like to record in person is pure magic. I'm going to be on a high for the rest of the day.
No, that's amazing. You know, I think the last time that we saw each other in person was end of February, just before everything kind of locked down
that's
and
right.
everything.
It was just before.
Yeah, so, but you know, we're making it through the pandemic and everything. But like I said, you know, with restrictions being lifted and, you know, and travel or whatnot, I said, hey, let me come down to Atlanta. I'm always looking for an excuse or reason to come down to Atlanta. But what better reason than to come down and record our first episodes of season 2 of On the Verge podcast?
Absolutely. I'm so glad you're here.
Yes. You know, today's episode, we wanted to talk about, you know, when you're getting started, you know, in anything, whether it be entrepreneurship on a project or whatever, you know, you're working your 9 to 5 and you got this big project, whatever you're getting started, you know, a lot of times we find ourselves waiting until we have all of these pieces together. Yeah. We'll say, I'll launch my business when I get my website started. I'll start my email campaign when I get to 100 subscribers. We've set all of these timelines, if you will, that in some cases don't matter too much. Yeah. But a lot of that is just because we have a fear of starting. So really what we want to talk about today is just starting with what you have.
Just getting started, and you're so right.
Yeah, just starting. And, you know, a lot of times, yeah, like I said, we're just waiting for these arbitrary things that we come up with of this quantity of certain amount of numbers that we have to have, or this date or whatever. I remember when we started the podcast, we did have a date, but then, you know, certain things happened during that time and we were kind of putting it off. And I just called you one day and I said, let's just start.
Let's just do it.
Let's just press record.
Absolutely. And it's so important to do that, because we do put these arbitrary sort of timelines in place for ourselves. And this is especially true if, for example, everything needs to be perfect before you get started. And I'm guilty of this. I've done this many times where I said, okay, let me just do this, this, and this. Let me wait until my blog is beautifully designed before I put out my first article. Let me get 100 more followers before I post about a certain topic. Let me get beautiful artwork before we launch a podcast. I remember we did not have, I think, most of season 1.
It was about halfway through when we finally got our current
cover art. And I think we could have said, oh, well, let's wait for this to be perfectly designed. Let's wait for a landing page. Let's wait before we are absolutely thrilled with this cover before we get started. Yes. And gosh, imagine if we did wait.
I know.
I don't think we would have had the conversations that we did. But I think you can look back on many things and say, imagine if you waited. Yes. Sometimes that window of opportunity is no longer there for you. And opportunities don't wait. Opportunities don't always come around. So when you see an opportunity, you need to be ready to move quickly.
Yes. You know, and kind of going back to the podcast, I mean, it was after, just last week, at the, you know, 2 months after we finished season 1, that I just uploaded all of the episodes to my website. Yeah. I had an external link because I was just like, oh, I'll just, you know, send it to everyone to Anchor or whatever. But now I want to keep everybody on my page. So now people can actually go to my website, williejdavis.com, and listen to all of the episodes or whatever too. So yeah, it's all of these things when it's like, okay, let's just wait. And actually, even with our cover, we were going to do photos together to send out and everything. We never got a chance to do that too. But yeah, so, you know, when you're getting started, especially in entrepreneurship, I think one of the hardest decisions that people have is leaving that 9 to 5. And we're not sitting here telling you, oh, just pack up right now and leave your job.
Yeah.
We understand there's levels of security and things like that, health insurance, a steady
One of
paycheck,
them.
all of those things or whatnot. But even just getting started in your business, starting that LLC. I started my LLC
Absolutely.
in real estate about a year before I actually started using it.
Yeah.
And then, building that website. You can start whatever it is that you want to do while you're building your website.
Absolutely.
Your website, and a lot of people don't realize, your website can be one homepage that just says contact me. It could be a paragraph about what you do and contact me, and people can email you.
That's it, exactly.
Yes.
It does not need to be a 20-page responsive website.
No.
You do not need to hire a designer. Just know that there's someplace someone can find you. I think you can go on many different sites to purchase your domain.
Yes.
Buy the domain. That is one first small step. It's like one leap of humankind.
Yes. No, buy
it's
that.
so important. That's
buy
one
that
step.
domain even before you have that website, because there's constantly people out there buying up domains. And if you potentially have a good domain name, make sure you renew it every year. So with your website, it can just be one landing page. And as time goes on, as you expand your business, you can just start adding sub pages to that, or once you get more familiar and into your niche or what you're doing. The other thing too, we always kind of say to ourselves, like, oh, we don't have the time to do it. So time is another thing. It's to why we put off stuff. And we all have 24 hours in a day. And yes, I get you might be working a 9 to 5. You might have family at home, got to get dinner ready at night, get the kids to bed or whatnot. But if you start with just 1 hour a day, whether it be waking up an hour early before the family gets up, that hour, I remember when I worked in corporate America, that lunch hour was epic. That lunch hour, sometimes I took a power nap in the car, but just making phone calls, just work, looking up listings for my clients, setting up showings or whatnot. That lunch hour was my time.
Yeah.
And a lot of times what we do is we'll eat at our desk through lunch, or we'll work through lunch, or all of these things. Take that hour back for yourself and put that into your business, put that into your new venture or whatnot.
And take control of that time.
Take control of it.
No one else is in control of that time except you, and how you are dedicating that to whatever resources they are. And maybe that 1 hour is not dedicated to building that business. Maybe it is preparing yourself to do that. Maybe it is that mental capacity and awareness that you need to be ready to take that next step. So maybe it is meditating, maybe it is writing down your goals, maybe it is just finding some peace within yourself. And I think that could be really important too. But owning that time, it is miserable waking up an hour earlier. It really is, and it's going to suck, but you have to embrace the suck to keep moving.
You have to. Say that again. You have to what?
You have to embrace the suck. And it is. I'm telling you, waking up early, 5, 6 o'clock, maybe you wake up at 8 o'clock every morning now because your commute is from your bed to your
well, that's almost like 2 hours actually.
Now you have 2 extra hours. And so waking up at 7 is going to suck, and you don't have to be part of the 4 a.m., 5 a.m. club, but just maybe start off with 30 minutes earlier. Maybe you'd say, I'm not going to hit snooze this morning, or something like that. And I'm not saying you have to go work out and run this crazy morning routine before everyone wakes up, but start small and don't wait for it. Don't say, when the pandemic's over, I'm going to do it. It's the same with healthy eating habits. It's the same with working out. You can't wait until it's the same premise of saying, when I do this, I will be happy. When I get to this point, I will be happy. It just doesn't work that way, because you will be miserable for a very long time, because when you get to that point, you will have progressed so much that that goal has shifted as well.
Yes. So
it's this perpetual cycle of unhappiness and discontent.
Oh yes, no, absolutely. I also remember that hour at my lunch hour, I would use it to study for my real estate exam too. And then once I got my license and was working in real estate, I used that, for client work or whatever. Also, say you're at this point where you have a couple of clients, or no matter what business you're doing freelance, you're real estate, or whatnot, and you got a couple of clients, maybe not enough for to pay all your bills and everything, but now what you have is potential feedback.
Yeah.
So just this week myself, I set up an email template. First of all, and Tammy will second me on this, but MailChimp is my new best friend. I think this week I set up like 3 or 4 different email templates, but I started reaching out to, or in a different way, reaching out to past clients, and just asking them to, send me some Facebook reviews. And then because I work with lenders and more, lenders and title companies or whatnot, or other agents, I sent out another email to them to have them send me reviews too. So whoever you have worked with, that you've come in contact with, start asking for reviews from the first person that can review you.
So
the very first person.
Same with LinkedIn recommendations. It's easy. Send a short note to those folks. It's really, really important. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yes. So don't think that you have to have 100 clients or 100 successes or 100 closings or whatever, or 50 or whatnot. That first one, because you don't know who that first one might.
Who might hear that?
Yeah, who might hear that, who they might recommend or whatnot.
Yeah.
And then you think of these reviews, especially if it's going to a public place like your Facebook or your LinkedIn, you can start using that as marketing. So now you got one client who reviewed you. Now you can use that as marketing material. So and then that marketing material can start taking you back to your newly developed landing page on your Facebook page or on your website.
Absolutely. And capture those email addresses.
Yes, capture it. No matter how you get them, what you have to ask them or whatnot, yes, capture them. Just the whole premise of this topic really is these small steps that you can take in the beginning will make a huge difference, because what you're doing now, and I've had to learn this lesson the hard way too, but what you're doing now with this 1, 2, 3, 5 people or things is you're building a template, you're building a process, you're building a network, you're building. So when you do get to that 100, it's smooth sailing. Everything's automated now.
Yeah, and document those processes so that you can just implement them and scale and repeat and keep going. It's really important to do that. And also, it's a compounding effect.
Yes.
If you do 1% more each day,
yes,
it compounds, and it's incredible how far you come with that.
Speaking of, read that book, The Compound Effect. I just read that a month ago, and that was, I think that kind of really started me on, the compound effect of various things and building my business and being more intentional about certain things and everything too. So, so just do that. Or is there anything else that you feel people don't do because they're lacking?
Waiting for approval from others.
Yes.
I think that is sharing your idea with many people.
Yes.
Or,
that was an episode in season 1 too. Don't stop asking for permission. But
stop asking for permission. But it's also when you are sharing these ideas with family, friends, or colleagues, maybe, and it's almost like you're getting bombarded with all this feedback of saying, "Oh, maybe not yet," or "Yes, maybe," and this really clouds your vision of what you are trying to accomplish, and so. If you're thinking of, I need approval, or someone says, yes, you should do it, or waiting for someone to push you to do it, I think you need to be really, really clear on that's going to be a thing that's holding you back.
Yes. Yeah, we're always waiting for some kind of approval or permission.
Or a sign. This is your sign.
A sign, yes. Everyone's, waiting for a sign, and, signs are great and everything, but I sense to somebody, but are you listening for those signs? A lot of times we're always looking for a sign, but are you actually are you listening for that sign?
Are you receptive to hearing that sign?
Yes.
Seeing that sign?
Because we'll sit here and say, I'm waiting for a sign, but the sign that we think we're waiting for is the decision that we've already made for ourselves.
Yeah.
So you'll never get that sign if you're not receptive to that sign.
Absolutely. And most people that are asking for their opinion already know their decision. They're just waiting for approval and a second on their decision they've made.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So, so stop waiting for permission, especially waiting for permission from the wrong people.
Oh, absolutely. And you may not know it's the wrong people yet. Not everyone has to sign off and champion you. Not everyone's going to be in your corner. Do it for you.
Yes. Absolutely. And then, another thing too, when we talk about, starting with what you have, we all have this, next thing I'm going to say, but we all, as entrepreneurs in some cases, underutilize it because we're afraid. We all have a phone with a camera. You are watching this podcast. If you're watching it right now, I'm recording this with my phone. And just last week, I recorded multiple videos. And if you can do your own video editing, I mean, it's a game changer. But just getting in front of your camera and just start making some videos, getting content out there. Whether it's for a minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, it doesn't have to be long form or anything, but whatever your topic, your niche, your industry that you're working in, start just writing down. Wherever you are right now, unless you're driving, and if you're driving with somebody, have your passenger do this, pull out a sheet of paper and just start writing down like 5 or 10 topics or ideas that you can talk about, that comes to mind that you can easily get push information out about.
Absolutely.
That I know this stuff and other people can know it too. Write it down, and then this week, start recording some of those videos, Doesn't matter what you look like in video or whatnot, or how comfortable you are in the camera, because that'll actually start to get you more comfortable in front of your camera. But just pushing out content and building your reputation as a subject matter expert. Yes, and I think
so important.
Yes, I think it's a lot of people just don't. A lot of people are just afraid what they look like on camera, or they get camera shy. Do it at home in a room and just keep record. Even if you have to record for an hour, just to get 1 minute of something.
It's true though. It's true. Just keep trying over and over, and you get better and better as you go. I mean, we've progressed so much from the first episode and how we've gone. And so you're not going to record. You're not going to be the best. Your first podcast is not going to be the best episode. Your first blog is not going to be the best blog.
Yes.
But you've got to start somewhere so that you can have that benchmark of how far you've come, so that when you do look back, you can say, oh, wow, look how far I have come.
Yes. And I think all of these different things, are just so important because, like we started this episode saying, a lot of people believe that you have to have so much already to start.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing that you just have to start is the confidence that you can do it. Yeah. And you get that confidence by just getting out of your own way.
Yeah. Get out your own way. Get over yourself.
Get over yourself.
So true.
And do it.
Yeah.
Just do it, and you'll figure it out. Okay? You'll figure it out from there. Where it's sometimes we'll say to ourselves that, oh, I'm afraid to do this or whatever because I don't know how it's gonna come. You're not afraid of that first step.
Yeah.
You're afraid because you don't know what step 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10 are going to be. And I'll be honest with you, half the time when Tammy and I are recording, we don't know what the next sentence or step or whatever is going to be or whatever too. But we just go with it, we figure it out. And once you make that first step, you'll probably say to yourself, oh, that actually wasn't too bad.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's already you building some confidence.
For sure.
That's already you saying to yourself, like, oh, that wasn't so bad. Okay, I can do, okay, I did a minute. Okay, maybe do a minute and a half. Or I can do a few I can do a few videos that are a minute each.
Yeah.
And start to put that out. Push that out to your Insta. If you're too afraid of so many people seeing it or whatever, start with your Instagram story. That'll be gone tomorrow.
Exactly.
Okay? And then start putting in your IG videos, and put in your profile and build it from there. And then, maybe develop a YouTube page and just start to build a collection of things.
Absolutely.
And then, on your Facebook and all these different, just start to build it. And you'll
They will come.
They will come, and you'll be amazed at how much you can do, how much you can accomplish, and how knowledgeable that you are on things. So just get in front of your camera and do it. Share your ideas with somebody around you that you believe, that you trust, and that you believe will help level you up. Take back those 30 minutes or hours in your day. Wake up a little bit early. Take that lunch hour. Sit in your car and do your thing. Maybe if you're still commuting to and from work, that commute time home. Listening to audiobooks on the topics that you're trying to really push forward with.
Absolutely.
Just start to find these areas in your day, in your life, where you can take advantage of them. And
I agree. Just start somewhere. Just start small and let it grow.
Yes.
And you can always pivot. It doesn't have to, it's not set in stone. It's not what you have to do for the rest of your days.
No.
Just start, just try. And then pivot, recalibrate and keep going.
Yes. And use the resource. Here's, Tammy and I are going to be very transparent with you guys right now too. And we're using the resources that we have. We're in a conference room at my hotel. Tammy has a call in 12 minutes, a conference call in 12 minutes. I'm getting on the road in about 30 minutes to go to North Carolina for the weekend. But we locked ourselves in a conference room for an hour or so to just record some content and get some episodes out and enjoy our time and take advantage of this time that we have before our days get away from us.
Because it could be easy to say, I've got a crazy day. It's the end of the week. For us, it's a Friday. Whenever you're listening to the, you know how you feel on a Friday. You've had this full week. Willie's traveled. And that's stressful in and of itself during a pandemic to travel, take the necessary precaution. But it's easy to have said, you know what? I can't fit in a workout this morning. He worked out this morning. We saw each other last night. And I know they got... shout out to Orange Theory and Buckhead on Piedmont. Yeah, for sure. That was... He knocked out a workout this morning already and then still fit me in to be able to record a podcast. I know I have a full day of calls after this and deliverables that need to be done. But last night when I got home, I scheduled several emails to be automatically sent out this morning at when we started recording so that would be taken care of. And so it would be easy to say, don't really have this time right now to do that. But let's just get one thing done. Let's get 2 episodes done. It's 2 episodes more than we had on season 2.
Yes, absolutely.
So here we are. It's doable. We're in the same position many of you are in.
Absolutely. And everything that Tammy and I that we talk about in season 1 that we will talk about in season 2, it's things that we've experienced, it's things that we've talked about, it's things that we may be going through as well. So this isn't us sitting on our high horse and talking down to people or whatnot. We're working with what we have too. And we want to encourage everybody to work with what they have. And as we end this episode, we want you guys to work with what you have and make sure that you are registered to vote. And if your voting registration is already in, and if you have absentee ballots that are coming or you can request them, make sure you vote. Make sure you vote early. Make sure that you and your family are taking the necessary precautions, whether it be physically or with your health or getting to polling or getting your ballots or whatnot. Making sure you're taking those precautions that you guys need to take to vote, to have your voice heard. We encourage everybody to vote, no matter what party you are. We're not here telling you who to vote for, but we just want to make sure that you vote and you check with your state as to when voting registration ends. Check with your state to when you can get your absentee ballots. fill out your application for that, to turn them in, where to turn them in. Just make sure that you guys can do that for
take
sure.
action.
Yes, just take action. All right. So, guys, thank you once again for listening to this episode. We hope something was said to you guys today that you can take to your life and just get started. And if there's anything that you guys want to hear us talk about more in this season or go deeper in, let us know in the comments or whatever. And don't forget, if you love this episode, please rate it, share it, like it, send it to your friends and family, or if anybody that you know just needs to start. But until then, we will talk to you guys later. Hope you have a great day and a beautiful week.